So Texas offers 3 new guys in this year's class. They offered Aljor Miles, Landon Barnes, and Keith Doty. All 3 of them from Texas. Who do you like the most? And then I was kind of surprised. I'm going to be honest. I'll start out with this. Landon Barnes, I don't know why it took this long. Like, he's a 4-star top 150 guy in your backyard at Duncanville. So I don't understand why it took that long.
Yeah, and that one's a weird one. And I wonder if it was just like a getting him on campus and talking to him kind of thing, right? Like, I wonder if that's what it was. With him, I really like Landon Barnes. He has got this is going to sound weird. He's got the frame of like the Predator from the movie, like the Predator movies that I love to see in an edge rusher, right? Really long arms, lanky frame, right? He's playing it. He's playing at 235, at least what he's listed. He does not look like he's 235. He's got some muscle that he's going to put on that frame. He already uses his arms really, really well, extends the arms out, keeps the defenders off him, keeps that outside arm free. I think he's got, I mean, he has the advantage of being the most talented guy on the field for most of the days that he's there, especially, going against, some kid that is trying to pass Spanish 3 right on a random afternoon. So, but he's shown a lot of the ability that you want to see from a guy. I hate this term, but he's a high motor kind of guy where he's kind of always just going. I think he needs to work probably on his eye discipline a little bit. Kind of gets lost in the mess sometimes, but ultimately, like, he is one of those guys who's going to get into the Texas weight room and just absolutely freak out, just absolute monster of a frame. And that's not a shot at either of the other two guys, because I think Miles is also a really intriguing prospect. He's one that doesn't necessarily fit the mold that Steve Sarkisian normally has. He's a really big kid. But he's a super explosive athlete. He's a jumper in high school. So that's a massive athletic frame for him. I think the curious thing about him is his ability to run routes, because most of his tape is just like, I beat the guy at the line and then I run down the sideline and my quarterback chunks it up. So it's going to be curious. There's not a ton of tape on Doty. I don't know a lot about him. He's probably got a longer development cycle, but he's that typical, A gap, B gap defensive tackle that Texas likes and Texas needs. And, if there's a guy you think in state that can help you shore up that defensive tackle room, I'm tired of playing the portal game with that position. So get them all.
No, I agree. Yeah, I'm high on the Aljor and Landon Barnes. Landon Barnes is kind of like, to me, if Smith Orogbo had what he'll look like at the end of this year, body wise, is what I'm thinking. And he's already that. And they have a lot of similarities. Like you said, very long arms, very unique athletically. And yeah, it's just weird to me how Duncanville's a hotbed, obviously, for recruiting all over the country, and it took this long to get this guy. So, yeah, I don't know whether it's they just wanted to have a conversation with him, if they thought, hey, he's not really interested, he kind of wants to go away from home. I don't understand that personally, but yeah, that one's interesting to me. Top 150 guy. You should, like, to me, if he's in Texas and they're top 250, it should automatically, hey, you have an offer if you want it type thing. Miles, I really like, and he had a really, really big year last year. 81 catches, 14 touchdowns, 17.7 yards per catch. So, like you said, big play threat. And yeah, he kind of dominates. Like, it's one move, get by the guy, go, it's a touchdown type thing. And that doesn't work at the college level, but he's got the frame, 6'2.5", 205. And Sark talked about, kind of changing up his portfolio at wide receiver of, I want one big guy now since we're in the SEC. I want that one physical guy. You kind of got that with the Khalid Lockett, bigger frame guy. Yeah. Go get the ball. But this guy's even taller. Like, he's 6'2.5". He'll probably end up being 6'3", 6'3.5" by the time he gets on campus. So an inch and a half taller than Khalid Lockett. He's 205. He is committed to SMU currently, and we've taken players from there before. But that's the thing too. Like, SMU does a pretty good job of recruiting guys. They kind of have to, because they're not one of the 3 to 4 biggest schools in Texas for football. So they kind of have to go after these guys and then develop them, and they do a pretty good job at developing them. So when they offer a kid like this, they're kind of like the neat new TCU to me with Gary Patterson, where when they offer a kid like one of these guys, my rabbit ears go up and think, hey, we probably need to look at this guy and give him a look more than we are at currently. And then Keith Doty, same thing. He's a guy, not even a top, I think, 400 guy right now.
He's like 5 something. Yeah.
He's way down there, but the frame itself is 6'4", 300 pounds. There's a lot to build from there, and he's a track athlete. So that's another thing too. Texas and a lot of schools around the country love to recruit track athletes or basketball players that are big guys because they know what they're doing footwork wise, and it just helps them athletically. Also an SMU commit. So again, another, I think, feather in the cap there. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know how far away we are in this race with all three of these guys. Landon Barnes has not committed anywhere yet. The other two have. And that's the thing too, because there's multiple ways to look at this. There are kids when they get recruited by schools like SMU, TCU, they're very loyal to those schools because, hey, you're the first one to recognize me. You're the first one to give me an offer. I'm going to commit there. Then there are other guys like, well, you're the best offer I've had for right now, so I'll take the commitment, but I'm going to look around elsewhere. Is that what Texas is looking like right now? Or, I mean, is that the position Texas is in right now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because there are guys that I think Texas doesn't offer until they see him in camp, right? Or they see him on campus working out, and Texas is in a position to be able to do that. For a long time, Texas was really late offering. That was a Tom Herman thing, right? Where Texas was getting on kids super late, and it was frustrating for a lot of fans who follow recruiting, including me. There is an opportunity here, and if it's going to come down, SMU is an up and coming program. They're in a Power 5 conference now, so like they're starting to play with the big boys a little bit, right? And I don't think they'll ever be, and this is not a shot at SMU. This is just how like economics and size work, right? They're not going to be on the level of Texas and the SEC right now. So like if it's an NIL issue, I feel like Texas will win these recruitments. If it's a fit issue, I'm curious to see it. But again, I'm a believer that in spite of NIL, in spite of all of the modernity of college football, it's still about relationships and relationship management. So does Texas have the relationships with these kids to get them to even listen to the pitches, right? Is it going to be the way that they get them there? So, I like how you talked about diversifying the skill set at wide receiver because, like I said, Miles is not a typical cat that Steve Sarkisian brings in, but he's that guy who can catch a ball at the back of the end zone and high pointed. He's a guy who can, really be able to create something different in the offense, be a big target, kind of take the top off the defense even a little bit. He's faster than he probably should be at 6'3", 205. And Duncanville is really Texas situation in Dallas is really weird, right?
Yeah.
For years they couldn't get their foot in the door anywhere in Dallas. Chris Gilbert comes in, reopens those doors for them, and so there's always kind of a little bit of hesitancy or a little bit of just like slow to the gun on these Dallas kids, and so I'm curious to see how that shapes out. But he's a defender from Duncanville. Let's get him on campus.
Yeah, I mean, the last one that we got off the edge was pretty good, I would say. So, yeah, can we get this one as well? But yeah, if I had to choose, like, off of what I would want out of these three, like ranking them how I'd want, I would go Landon Barnes, Alger Miles, and then Keith Doty, which basically is just the recruiting ranking. So I guess I'm copying off of that. But I do like Miles a lot.
Yeah, I think and Doty is one that I'm curious to see how he develops. He's a thrower, so he's got really good feet in high school. So again, that's something that 6'3", he's a little on the shorter end for a D tackle, but he's already at 300. So it's going to be curious to see how he develops.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. Guys, can you please do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe down below?